Now, our On the Couch preview this week is one of the, I guess, the biggest games due out this year, and that is Halo Reach for the Xbox 360. Dan was lucky enough to actually play the multiplayer beta that, a few million people will get to play in a couple of weeks' time, but you got to play it last week, is that right?
I did, and you'll be able to play this one by having bought ODST.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get right down to it. What did you actually play on that fateful day you played Halo Reach multiplayer?
That fateful day, going back. It was only the multiplayer beta, so it's still a little bit closed at this stage. It was actually apparently an early alpha look at the game, so it's still got a little bit of work to go through before it actually gets into your dirty little hands. But we had a look at a couple of the new multiplayer modes, some of the new weapons, a couple of new maps, and some new gameplay modes.
Okay, just before we go on, because I know it causes questions about the specific modes you've got, but just step back. So you're still playing as, Spartans versus the Covenant, is that right? Elite? Is that the setup here as well?
Yeah, the majority of the stuff we played was as the Spartans, but there is a new mode that's called Generated Defense, which is going to be Spartans versus Elites. That's one of the ones that unfortunately we didn't get a chance to play. I think it was 4 aside, and we had 6 consoles and couldn't find 2 other people.
Do you get to choose which Spartan you play as? Because I know that in Fable lore there are different Spartans. They're a very small unit of elite soldiers. They have different IDs.
In the build that we saw, as far as I know, there was only one available from the outset. But one of the big things in Halo Reach is unlockability. So they've got the leveling system that we've seen previously in a lot of games. I think Halo also had a multiplayer leveling system. On top of that, there's also a credit system. So as you win matches and do cool stuff, win badge type things, the credits can actually be used to unlock additional armor. They're all, at this stage, cosmetic, but we saw shoulder pads, chest pieces, helmets, that kind of stuff. So you can give them unique looks.
Does that make it kind of like the perk system in Call of Duty 4 if there's a leveling system?
Sort of. We haven't seen any perks so far, and again, this is really early days in terms of the beta and what's actually going to ship with it. But I haven't seen any additional unlocks that come weapon-wise with the leveling system, other than being able to buy certain items that are locked by rank.
Okay, so what game modes did you exactly play?
So we played a lot of the old ones. There's still Slayer and Team Slayer and Pro Slayer, which I don't know if it was in Halo 3.
Pro Slayer, wasn't that banned from GTA 3?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So, sorry guys.
Yeah, right. No, so the standard free-for-all deathmatch, team deathmatch, and pro, which I think just removed the radial mini-map, so you wouldn't be able to see dots on it. And
so
apparently,
it's not like a one-shot, one-kill.
No. As far as I know, they haven't made any changes to. They said that, hey, look, we've made these huge changes to the radial mini-map. I didn't see anything new, to be honest. Maybe it was on a slightly different angle. Okay. There are a few people there saying that potentially distance from wherever you are will determine sound, which will show up on the map whether or not you are close enough.
That sounds kind of cool. Makes it a bit more realistic.
Yeah. They also had Oddball, which is, the pick up the head and run with it mode and keep it for as long as you can to get points. We also saw Headhunter, which is new, which is kind of like Oddball, except that everybody gets skulls, and they either spawn a couple on the map, and you'll get them by killing other players, and you can collect as many as you can and get them to almost like a CTF capture point. But the problem is that you can collect as many as you like, but it makes you really vulnerable, because the more you grab, you actually get a marker on screen to show who has the most skulls, and you can actually go and track them down.
Does it actually affect your movement or anything like that?
No, as far as I could tell, it didn't, and you don't lose any of your new perk abilities. Like you do in the Oddball mode, you can't actually use your specials there. But there's an advantage to going and capping frequently rather than running around with 9 or 10 and then getting killed and dropped a lot.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned some, new weapons at the start of this. Can you talk us through that then?
There were some changes to the Needler. They're doing some stuff with the scoped rifle. I can't think of the name of it for the life of me.
Scoped rifle.
Yeah, the scoped rifle. But for the most part, it's actually really, really familiar. The rocket launcher, the basic plasma rifle, they're all making a return appearance. I think there's a grenade launcher coming in now that we didn't see and was in one of the other multiplayer modes that wasn't available to us. But it'll be really, really familiar to anyone that's played previous Halo games or multiplayer.
Now, I know that there are jetpacks in this one this time around. Does that make it feel a little bit like Tribes at all?
A little. To be honest, it's a bit of a weird one, because the stuff that we saw, they're not really class. Everyone's playing the same Spartan, but you choose one of 4, I guess for lack of a better word, they are perks before each round of the match, and you can go with a scout style one, which means you can sprint faster for short periods of time. There's the jetpack, which has a limited ability, so you can fly for a while, you can kind of hop it over. There's one that you actually need to charge up for a good couple of seconds, and you have to stay stationary while you do it, but it makes you invulnerable for another couple of seconds. So we saw some people using that one with the skull capture mode when they were getting close to capping them and they're about to die. And the other one is invisibility, which is a cloaking thing, and if you stay still, you're completely invisible. And I think you can fire and stay invisible, but the more that you move, the more that you'll start to show to the other players on the map. So
Surely you can't fire and stay invisible. That's a camping person's wet dream come true.
And what about going in water, like the Predator? Once he goes in water, does
maybe just
he get exposed? Or
maybe it's like Nathan Drake, you stay wet, your clothes are wet. So those are the new ones that we've seen so far, and I think they're all going to be in the multiplayer beta when it comes out later.
No, you kept mentioning the word familiar, so it plays like that. It just feels really...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you played Halo 3 multiplayer, you'll be completely at home. The new perks are actually really nice. They've moved the button config around a little bit. I kept using B to do the melee attacks, but they've now changed that to an assassination button. So if you're close enough, you can actually grab someone from behind and do kind of a stealth kill type thing, and then you go into third person for that, do the kill, and then you resume, which is a little bit jarring.
Does it automatically just go into teabag mode? Because I mean, that's what Halo's all about.
There's no auto teabag mode. There's probably a manual one.
Is it the same animation all the time with that kill, or does it change
I only
up?
saw one or two, but I wasn't using them all that frequently. And they've remapped them slightly so that the sprint stays the same, but the melee is now one of the bumper buttons, which was a bit of a change.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. Couple of last questions for you.
Shoot.
When is this multiplayer beta actually out for people, and when is the actual game, the full game, Halo Reach out?
Now, multiplayer is going to be out on May 4th this year, but Halo Reach, that's anyone's guess at this point. It's TBA 2010, but as always, stay tuned to GameSpot for the latest information.